Welcome back to Apex Sci-Fi. We often wonder what advanced alien technology looks like. We imagine sleek metal, floating lights, and silent engines. But what if aliens looked at our technology and felt the same sense of awe and terror? Not our computers, not our rockets, but our furniture. Specifically, the flat-pack furniture that comes in a cardboard box, weighs 50 pounds and requires a degree in engineering and endless patience to assemble. Today's story is about the Zylothian spy network. They infiltrated a suburban garage in Sweden. They stole a box labeled HEMNES. They believed it contained the blueprints for a kinetic fortress. They took it back to their homeworld to reverse engineer it. And in doing so, they doomed their civilization to madness. This is the story of how an entire galaxy was defeated by a missing dowel and a confusing diagram on page 12. If you have ever had a mental breakdown while holding an Allen wrench, smash that like button. You are a survivor. And if you want to see a Starship engineer cry because the holes don't align, subscribe and ring the bell. Step 1. Identify the parts. Good luck. High Intelligence Officer Vex stood before the Grand Council of Zyloth. The Zyloth were masters of reverse engineering. They stole tech from every species they conquered. They built their empire on stolen ideas. My lords, Vex announced, gesturing to the heavy rectangular cardboard box on the gravity sled. We have secured the artifact. It was hidden in the domicile of a human dad. He guarded it in his garage, intending to build it on the weekend. We believe it is a shield generator. The Emperor leaned forward. A shield generator? Made of cellulose and compressed wood. Deception, my lord, Vex explained. The humans camouflage their advanced tech as organic matter. This box contains the components for a structure called the Billy. It is heavy. The box says it requires 2 people to assemble. Clearly, this is a code for a dual-pilot reactor system. Open it, the Emperor commanded. Vex sliced the tape with a laser cutter. He opened the box. A smell filled the room. The smell of sawdust, glue, and frustration. Inside, slabs of white particle board were packed tightly together. Look at the efficiency, the chief engineer, Krell, gasped. Zero wasted space. The packing geometry is sublime. He lifted a bag of hardware. Hundreds of fasteners, Krell noted. Screws. Wooden cylinders. And this. He held up the Allen wrench. The council gasped. A tool? No, Krell whispered, turning the tiny L-shaped piece of metal in the light. A key. A universal torque interface. It is made of a primitive alloy, yet it fits every single bolt. It is the master key. Assemble it, the Emperor ordered. Build the Billy. If it is a weapon, we shall use it against them. Krell took the box to the high science lab. He assembled his team of top physicists and architects. They had built Dyson spheres. They had built warp gates. Surely they could build a bookcase. Day 1, the manual. Krell laid out the instruction booklet on the holotable. No words, Krell observed. Only pictograms. A cartoon man, smiling. Why is he smiling? Is he mocking us? He is holding a hammer, a junior scientist pointed out. Is that a threat? It is a warning, Krell deduced. Step 1 implies we must insert the wooden dowels into the side panels. But look at the diagram. The perspective is non-Euclidean. Does the dowel go in halfway? Or all the way? Let us run a simulation. They ran a supercomputer simulation. It took 4 hours. The simulation is inconclusive, Krell sighed. The friction coefficient of the particle board is inconsistent. We must do it manually. They began insertion. The dowel is loose, the junior scientist said. It wiggles. Use the glue, Krell ordered. There is no glue in the kit, High Engineer. What? Krell panicked. A structural assembly without bonding agents? The humans rely on gravity and friction alone? They are madmen. Day 3, the orientation error. They had assembled the frame. It stood in the center of the lab, a white rectangle of mystery. But something was wrong. High Engineer, a physicist whispered, pale-faced. Look at the holes on the bottom shelf. Krell looked. There, facing the back, Krell said. According to diagram 4b, the raw, unfinished edge should be facing the wall. We have the raw edge facing the front. Silence fell over the lab. We put the shelf in backward, Krell whispered. The horror washed over him. We must disassemble it, the physicist said. We cannot. Krell screamed. We use the locking cams. Once the metal cam is turned, it bites into the wood. If we reverse it, the structural integrity will be compromised. The particle board will crumble. So, it is ruined? No, Krell's eyes twitched. We will modify it. We will drill new holes. But we do not have the human drill. We only have plasma cutters. Use the plasma cutter on the lowest setting. They tried. The particle board caught fire. The fire suppression system activated, soaking the billy. The wood swelled. It absorbs water. Krell shrieked. It is expanding. The tolerances are ruined. Day 7, the back panel. They had managed to salvage the frame. It was slightly charred and swollen, but standing. Now came the final step. The back panel. It was a thin, flimsy sheet of cardboard that unfolded like an accordion. This is the shielding? The Emperor asked, visiting the lab. It seems weak. It is deceptive armor, my lord, Krell lied, sweating. It is flexible to absorb impact. Proceed. Krell looked at the instructions. Step 20, nail the back panel into place. There were 50 tiny nails. There were no pre-drilled holes. We have to guess? Krell asked the empty air. We have to hammer nails blindly into the rim? If we miss by 1 millimeter, the nail will punch through the side and be visible. Use the laser guidance, the Emperor suggested. The lasers reflect off the white laminate. Krell yelled, losing his composure. We must eyeball it. Krell picked up a hammer. He tapped the first nail. It went in crooked. He tapped the second nail. It missed the frame entirely and tore through the side of the bookshelf. Failure. Krell screamed, throwing the hammer at a drone. The angle was perfect. The wood moved. The wood is sentient. The Emperor stepped back. Engineer Krell, you are hysterical. I am not hysterical. Krell roared, holding the flimsy back panel. I am trying to align a non-rigid surface to a rigid frame with no pilot holes. It is chaos theory made manifest. The humans, they do this for fun? On weekends? Day 10, the extra part. The billy was finished. It was crooked. It leaned to the left. The drawers didn't close all the way. There was a nail sticking out the side. But it was standing. The council gathered to witness the activation of the weapon. Turn it on, the Emperor commanded. It does not turn on, my lord, Krell wept. It just sits there. It holds things. Books. Trophies. It is a shelf? The Emperor asked, disappointed. It is a test, Krell whispered. A test of will. Then the junior scientist walked up. He was holding something in his hand. Hi, engineer, he said softly. What? We found this on the floor. He opened his hand. It was a single silver screw. Krell stared at the screw. He looked at the instructions. He counted the steps. There were no extra screws listed in the inventory. Where? Krell's voice trembled. Where does this go? I do not know, sir. We used all the screws required by the diagram. Then why is it here? Krell screamed. If it is here, then it is not there. The structure is incomplete. It is a time bomb. It will collapse. Maybe it is a spare? The Emperor suggested. Humans do not give spares. Krell argued maniacally. They are capitalists. They maximize profit. They would not give us free metal. This screw is critical. Which hole did we miss? Krell grabbed the bookshelf. He shook it. The billy wobbled. It's unstable. Krell yelled. The missing screw. It was the linchpin. He shook it harder. The particle board, weakened by the fire and the water, gave way. The bookshelf collapsed. It folded in on itself like a house of cards. Krell fell into the ruins of white wood and silver camlocks. He lay there, clutching the extra screw, laughing hysterically. They defeated us, Krell whispered to the ceiling. They defeated us with a hexagon key and a bag of mystery hardware. The Emperor looked at the broken heap. Burn it, the Emperor ordered. Launch it into the sun. And the invasion of Earth? Vex asked. Cancel it, the Emperor said, terrified. If their civilians can assemble these things and remain sane, their soldiers must be monsters. We cannot fight a species that voluntarily subjects itself to this torture. The Zylothian fleet retreated. They deleted the coordinates of Earth from their NAV computers. They marked the system as Class X psychological hazard. Krell was institutionalized. He spends his days in a padded room, drawing diagrams of drawer runners on the walls and screaming about pilot holes. And back on Earth, in a suburban garage in Sweden, a dad walked in. He looked for his box. It was gone. Honey, he shouted. Did you move the bookshelf? No, dear. Weird, the dad shrugged. Must have misplaced it. I'll just go buy another one. I love building those things. It's so relaxing. This has been Apex Sci-Fi. We think of IKEA as a store. But maybe it is actually a planetary defense training program. If you have ever finished a build and found an extra part, hit that like button. You are living on the edge. Comment below. What is the hardest piece of furniture you've ever assembled? Subscribe. And always count your screws. Assembly failed.